Purim 2021. From the 25th to the 26th of February. What is Purim? Part 1. Purim is a Jewish holiday, celebrated every year on the 14th of the Hebrew month of Adar. Purim 2021 begins on Thursday night, the 25th of February, and continues through Friday, the 26th of February. What is Purim? Part 2. Purim commemorates the time when the Jewish people living in Persia were saved from extermination by their Persian rulers through the courage of a young Jewish woman called Esther. This story is recorded in the book of Esther.
Hey Grockites! Today we're gonna grok Purim! What's Purim, you say? Well, if I told you that Jews had their own Halloween of sorts, would you believe me? If I told you that on this day we are actually commanded to get drunk, would you believe me? If I told you that men are encouraged to dress up like women, would you believe me? And if I told you that it's a religious holiday, but the book that we read on this holiday doesn't even mention God's name once, would you believe me? And what if I told you that the entire holiday rests on the bravery of a Persian queen who is Jewish, but she has to hide it because nobody likes the Jews, they hate the Jews, and then she has to reveal it, and OMG, she ends up saving the Jewish people. Would you believe me, or would your brain explode? Well, I hope not, because all of that is true. So what do Jews actually commemorate on Purim? Well, the story goes a little something like this. It all began when the Queen of Iran, Queen Vashti, refused to dance naked for her husband when he summoned her. So the king, whose name is impossibly Ahasuerus, kicks Vashti out and does a kingdom-wide America's Got Talent-esque search for a new queen. When all is said and done, a new queen is chosen and her name is Esther. But her name in Hebrew is actually Hadassah, like the willow tree. See, she's Jewish, but she can't tell anyone. Shh, it's a secret because everyone hates the Jews. Everything is going fine and Esther is totally slaying it as a regal. Until the king has this creepy evil advisor and his name is Haman. Boo! 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 And Haman is plotting to kill the Jews. Like he actually says, I'm gonna kill the Jews. Esther's uncle's name is Mordecai, and he's a really stand-up guy. But he overhears Haman's plot, and he tells his niece Esther about it. Together, they realize they have to take action. Because, you know, maybe she was placed in this power position to save all of the Jews. That's totally a thing, right? Right. So Esther comes up with this brilliant and brave plan. She invites her husband and Haman to a set of banquets. Haman thinks he's just there for a lit party. But at the second of these banquets, in a moment of supreme total awesomeness, Esther says, honey, Haman wants to kill all the Jews. And he's like, what? I had no idea. And she's like, honey, I'm a Jew. And then he's like, what? And she's all, I know, right? Anyway, we can talk about that later. Right now, please hang Haman and all his sons. And so, just when all seemed lost, the entire Jewish people was saved. So, that's Purim. And so, to commemorate this miraculous story and to honor Esther's awesomeness, we celebrate every year. We donate money to charity and we give little food gifts to our friends in order to spread the love. And yes, we are supposed to get intoxicated if you are of legal drinking age, of course. Why do we get drunk? It's so that we can't tell the difference between heroes and villains. It's to emphasize the topsy-turvy nature of this holiday and a life. In a second, life can change. Esther was not queen, then she was. The Jews were safe, and then they weren't. The Jews were threatened, and then they were redeemed. Purim is super fun, super meaningful, and super empowering. It celebrates the power we all have inside of us to be courageous, to be heroic, and to be the deliverers of truth and salvation. Oh, also, it wouldn't be a Jewish holiday without a ritual food. The ritual food of Purim are these tasty triangle-shaped cookies called Hamantaschen, which means Haman's pockets. No one really knows why. And in Israel, they're called Haman's ears, which is super weird, but it doesn't really matter because they're delicious. Being Jewish is so much fun, but it is especially fun at Purim time. Purim! Purim! Happy Purim! Chag Purim Sameach! Oh, Oh, and also, guess what I'm doing right now? I'm looking up my favorite Hamantaschen recipe. As I mentioned, that's the cookie we eat on Purim. To get my recipe, go to groknation.com and you can make your very own Hamantaschen. Yay!
How is Purim celebrated? Part 1. It begins with dressing up in costume. Some people choose to dress as characters from the Purim story, and others dress in non-Purim related costumes. Then a public recitation of the scroll of Esther, known as Kriyat HaMegillah, takes place, usually in the synagogue. It is customary to make a loud noise, with a noisemaker called a Rashan, Hebrew, or Granger, Yiddish, every time the name of the Persian ruler, Haman, is mentioned, in order to fulfill the obligation of blotting out Haman's name. How is Purim celebrated? Part 2. Other Purim activities include exchange of gifts of food and drinks known as Mishloach Mano, donate charity to the poor known as Matanot La'Evionim, eat a celebratory meal known as a Seudat Purim, recitation additions to the daily prayers and the grace after meals, known as Al Hanisim.
No, it's not Halloween, it's not Mardi Gras, and I'm not at Midburn. We are celebrating Purim, probably the most fun Jewish holiday of the year. On Purim, we dress in costume, dance in the streets, have a big meal, and are as merry as can be. People eat these delicious cookies called Haman's ears in Hebrew, send gifts of food to their friends, and donate to charity for the holiday. Traditionally, Jews gather to listen to a reading of the Book of Esther, which retells the story of Purim. Purim takes us back over 2,000 years to the Persian Empire, where the Jews were living in exile. The heroes of the story of Purim are Esther and her uncle Mordechai, who saved the Jews from a wicked decree calling for their murder. After the Jews overcame their foes, they celebrated, and so we celebrate today. So now that you know the basics of Purim, put on your crazy hat and come join the party.
What food is typically eaten on Purim? Top left, kriplak. Top right, challah, breaded bread. Bottom left, hamantasken.
Hi everyone, happy Purim! I am so excited to film this video for you guys today because I absolutely love the holiday of Purim and I freaking love Hamantaschen. So I just posted my classic best Hamantaschen recipe for making the most perfect dough for Hamantaschen. And today I am styling that dough up and showing you guys how you can be creative while making Hamantaschen for and with your kids. This video is also in collaboration with some of my favorite girls on YouTube, and that is Erica Terry, Melissa from Little Kosher Lunch, Marty from Everyday Jewish Mom, and Yara from Life to the Fullest. So each of them has their own videos on celebrating Purim with kids. I will link them all down below so you guys can check them out. And I'm going to get started with my crazy fun Hamantaschen for you guys. I hope you like this video. If you do, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I make videos all about being a Jewish mom, and I have tons of content about Purim, Jewish holidays, etc., and you don't want to miss it. Okay, let's jump in. So for some fun Hamantaschen ideas, I like to use rainbow colored sprinkles, different types of cookie decorating icing and sprinkles, and white chocolate chips to go in the middle. So what I'm going to do is take my regular Hamantaschen dough. I will link to the recipe for this dough, by the way. I just put up the video last week. It's super simple and honestly the best Hamantaschen dough to work with. And then I just pile on the sprinkles, and I really pile it on in there. I do not hold back. And what I'm going to do is just roll out the dough and use a circle cookie cutter to cut it to about 1/8 of an inch thick. You want to make sure all your circles are approximately the same size so that they cook in the oven for the same amount of time. And as I go, I'm just going to mix more and more sprinkles into the dough. They look so fantastic and fun when you do this. And then to fill these ones, I'm actually putting sprinkles in the center of them, which is delicious and super cute. And then to make the traditional Hamantaschen shape, you just pinch the corners of the circle until it makes a triangle. If your dough is not sticking together well, you can put a little bit of water on your hands to help it out. And I bake these in the oven at 375 degrees for just about 10 minutes. You don't want to go over that, and you really want to watch them closely so that they don't burn, especially Hamantaschen like these, because the color of the sprinkles and the dough will really not turn out well if they burn. For my next Hamantaschen decorating idea, I'm going with a blue and white theme. Now, as you can see here, when I work with Hamantaschen dough, sometimes it sticks to the board and you need to use a little bit more flour, and that's totally fine. It's a flexible dough and you just kind of learn as you go. So I'm adding a little bit of the blue sprinkles into the dough, sort of like I did with the rainbow ones. But what's different here is I'm making sure that one side of the circle is super covered in the blue sprinkles, and that side of the circle is actually the underside, so that when you pinch up the Hamantaschen dough to make the triangle shape, that's when you're going to see the blue sprinkles shine through. And then for the filling of these Hamantaschen, I'm just using white chocolate chips. And when they're all done and out of the oven, I'm going to actually use some icing gel on them to add even more fun. And this is great to do with kids because you can be as messy as you like and they still turn out looking fantastic and absolutely delicious. You just want to make sure that your Hamantaschen have completely cooled before doing this step. So here they are, the finished products. They are so cute and delicious. So that's it. Those are my crazy fun Hamantaschen recipe ideas. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Mewo hopes the Jewish community has enjoyed their Purim celebrations. References. Mewo would like to thank the volunteers who contributed to this presentation. Contents and Multimedia, Marit Lang.